What's up, everybody? I'm True, and today I have from the Reaper of Souls beta the new set bonuses that they're going to provide you. And I'm going to try and go through these quick and make this video as short as possible. So I'm only going to really focus on the ones that actually change builds and do like important things. So here, let's just get right into it. Right here with Danetta's Creed, you can see vaults now cost 8 hatred instead of discipline. So instead of having, a bunch of discipline spenders, now you can have it as a hatred spender to help you survive. Now let's see here. Next, Manajuma's Ornaments when you're surrounded by a deadly poison cloud. So now, basically, whenever anybody gets near you, you're dealing a certain portion of damage as this poison cloud that just follows you around everywhere that you go. Natalia's Solace, you can see there isn't too much change there. 20 maximum discipline. That's pretty important, but nothing too crazy there. Immortal King's Legend. So this is the new Immortal King set. You can see 60 resist to all elements, reduces damage from melee attacks by 4% here. With 5 pieces, Call of the Ancients lasts until they die. So now Call of the Ancients is basically a pet skill, and they last until they die. So they can potentially last until the cooldown's up, and then you can just spam this and continue to have 3 extra Call of the Ancients at all times. So it's here Talrox's Sacrifice. As you can see, your 3 elemental skills do 3% more damage, as well as increases your arcane power regeneration by 2 per second. Ina's Grandeur. Now this is one that I think is absolutely huge. This is the new Ina's set right now, the bonuses in the Reaper Souls beta. Now you can see here, gain the base effect of all 4 mantras at all times. So at all times you have the base effect of the 4 mantras. Now I'm just going to bring up the 4 mantras right now so you can see the base effects of them. Okay, so right here I brought up the 4 mantras, and this is in the beta right now, so these are subject to change whenever before the expansion comes out. But for right now, the 4 base effects are you and your allies within 60 yards gain a 17% bonus dodge chance. Deal 101% of your weapon damage as wholly when you and your allies within 60 yards block, dodge, or are hit. Increase your life regeneration by 826 life per second, and then that is also increased by an additional 30% of your current life per second. And then all enemies within 30 yards of you take an additional 10% damage. So if you add all 4 of these base effects of the mantras together, and you have them on at all times, that's going to be huge. It's going to make the monk a much more viable character, and it's going to be much more efficient at helping out the team, because a lot of these help the team, in a bunch of ways, as well as helping out the monk, because it's within 60 yards. So as long as you're near your allies, a lot of these are going to help. Like you're going to get the additional bonus dodge chance. You're going to be dealing 101% of your weapon damage back every time you're hit, block, or dodge. So you're kind of like a Thorns type of thing with everybody around you. Plus, you're also healing a very large portion. So this is a huge benefit and a big change that's going to make this set very, very good for monks. So now next we have Zunamaspa's Whispers. Your fetish army lasts until they die. So now this is again just like the Call of the Ancients. Now you have an entire fetish army that doesn't just go away after a certain amount of time. They stay until they are dead. Endless Path, critical hit damage increased by 50%. That's pretty big. Let's see here. What's next? As you can see, some of these, you guys can read these for yourselves, but some of these have some pretty big stats attached to them. But I only want to go over the ones that actually change, things that are pretty important here. Oshira's Vestments, an extra 20% to your life, 100 to resist all, and melee attackers take basically 3,500 holy damage per hit. So if you're making a Thorns build like you can with the Crusader, that's pretty big. Guardian's Jeopardy, regenerate basically 2,000 life per second. That's a lot of life, and there's a lot of life per second builds that you can do, as well as ones that turn life per second into like a kind of AoE damage. So that's pretty big. Sage's Journey, you get 975 to all 4 of the core stats here. Chance to reflect projectiles when you're hit by enemies of the demon side. Now, these 4 down here, these are the ones I really want to focus on, which is why I kind of skimmed through all the rest. These are for brand new sets. First one, the ninja set, is for the demon hunter. First, with 2 pieces, your spike traps lure enemies to them. So when you cast your spike traps, enemies actually walk into them. So you no longer have to put them in front of you. You can put them, off to the side to try and distract enemies in order to buy yourself more time to get away from them if you're in a tight situation, or just have them walk into them and do a bunch of damage. Now, 4 pieces automatically cast smokescreen when you fall below 25% life. This effect may occur only once every 30 seconds. So now, when you fall below 1/4 of your total life, you automatically cast smokescreen. This is huge for anybody in hardcore, because this is basically like a get out of jail free card. If you take a big shot that you're not anticipating and all of a sudden you get caught with something, boom, this set alone already casts smokescreen for you. Plus, if you have smokescreen, which I'm assuming you will in hardcore, you have it again for once you come out of it. Now, the Earthquake set, this is for barbarians. With 2 pieces, reduces the cooldown of Earthquake every time it kills an enemy. Now, I'm not sure how much it reduces the cooldown, but this is pretty important for when you're killing mobs, because you can continue to have your Earthquake come back much quicker. Now, the 4 pieces, now this is the big one, cause an earthquake when you land after using Leap. So now every time you use Leap, you're causing an earthquake. So you don't even need Earthquake as a skill if you have this set, because every time you leap, you are causing an earthquake, and Leap has a much lower cooldown than Earthquake does. So this is absolutely huge. Plus, if you have Earthquake, you can have multiple Earthquakes up at the same time, killing everything on screen. So this is a very important set, especially if you get any legendaries that end up modifying Earthquake in any way. This is a huge set for you. Thorn set. Now this is for the Crusader, not necessarily exclusively, but I see it benefiting the Crusader the most. It does work for every other build and character. So with 2 pieces, your melee attackers take 4,000 damage per hit. So 4,000 damage every time you get hit by something with your melee attackers. And then plus the Thorns set itself adds Thorns damage for each piece to your actual Thorns damage. So this is an additional 4,000 on top of what you already have. Now with 4 pieces, your Thorns damage now hits all enemies in a 15-yard radius. So all enemies around you, basically, that are within a close enough distance to hit you, take Thorns damage that you're dealing. So it's not only hitting the person hitting you, but it's also hitting everyone else around you. So every hit from each one of those people hurts the other one. And I've seen Crusader builds with extra Thorn passives and Thorn, items, that this can actually kill every monster around you without you even having to attack. This is just damage being done for you standing still. So this is something that can change builds. It can make an entire build based around this set. It's something that I really want to try and that I like. Now last but not least, the Golden Oxen set. This is for, obviously the first 2 and 4 aren't exclusively for barbarians, but this 5th piece is exclusively for barbarians. Enables all Furious Charge runes. So if you have the skill Furious Charge, now instead of having 1 rune, you have all 5 runes enabled at all times. So now I'm just going to bring that up for you real quick so you can see these. Alright, so once again now here, I just brought up the Furious Charge skill with the runes here so you can see them. Now keep in mind, once again, this is the beta and these are subject to change, but for right now, this is what you would be getting with the set. Now, the original skill, and remember, you are getting all of these runes. So with the original skill, it generates 15 Fury, the cooldown is 10 seconds, and does 360% weapon damage to all enemies along the path. So now these are the effects that will all benefit your Furious Charge with this set. This will increase the damage to 760% weapon damage. That is a ton of damage for a Fury building skill, especially one that only has a 10-second cooldown. And as you'll see here with this next one, you can actually reduce the cooldown. So like I said, cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds for every enemy hit. This effect can reduce the cooldown by up to 10 seconds. So if you hit 5 enemies, you can spam this skill again. You can just keep doing this over and over and over, doing 760% weapon damage, generating a ton of fury, and reducing the cooldown the entire time. Now generate 10 additional fury for each enemy hit while charging. So this will basically fill your fury bar completely, even if it's empty, as long as you go into a mob. And if you hit everyone in the mob, you'll also be reducing the cooldown and having it available again, and doing a ton of damage. So now with Bull Rush, all enemies hit are stunned for 2.5 seconds. So now all the enemies are stunned. You gained your entire fury bar. You can spam it again, so you can perma stun them as long as there are at least 5 enemies that you're hitting, and you're doing a ton of damage. Now Dreadnought, all enemies are pulled to your destination. So basically this means if you go through a mob of enemies, everybody is going to be centered around where you land. So you're going to basically drag them with you, and they're all going to be exactly where you land. So they're going to be all where you land. They're going to be stunned for 2.5 seconds. You're going to have a full fury bar, no cooldown, and a ton of damage. So now you can do this again, and you can just perma stun them until they die, as long as there's a bunch of them there. Or you could chain this with, let's say, Earthquake, where they all land exactly where you do. They're stunned for 2.5 seconds, and you have a full fury bar. Now you pop Earthquake. Wait, as soon as they become unstunned, you back up, you Furious Charge back into them. Now this is going to be a ridiculous combo to kill a ton of enemies right there. And that's just not even thinking about a lot of other things. I'm sure there's plenty of other things that you can do to chain this together. But as you can see, this may be subject to change, because I can see this being very, very overpowered. But for right now, this is an amazing set that will make one skill in particular just absolute beast mode and turn your barbarian into an animal. So yeah, guys, I hope that you like this video. I hope that you guys see, anything that you wanted to see. These are the new effects of set legendaries that we have right now. They are subject to change up until, whenever the Reaper of Souls beta actually comes out. But for right now, this is what we have on them. Some of them are very exciting, and some of them are very crucial to certain builds that you're going to have, as you can see. So, like I said, I hope you guys liked this video. Go ahead and give it a like. Click the like button below if you found any of this helpful. Please subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with my future videos. And I hope that you guys have a great day.